What is up, everybody, and welcome to ReilTalks podcast. We're going to break down what it takes to live life on your terms through entrepreneurship, specifically real estate investing. So we're going to hit it hard, the good, the bad, and the real, because that climb, as any entrepreneur knows, is never smooth. My name is Mike Singletary. I'm your host. So let's get real. What's up, everybody? This is season 2. I cannot believe that we went through a year of this podcast and had some amazing people on here. I mean, I had my co-host, Frank Chen. Unfortunately, we decided to, part ways very, very amicably because we're really talking to two different audiences. He's an affiliate genius. I'm talking to real estate investors. I'm going to focus on real estate investors. If you haven't watched any of our episodes this for season 1, I mean, we've had some absolute OGs like Ron LeGrand, the godfather of info marketing and real estate investing. Chris Chico, the godfather of virtual wholesaling. Just massive heavyweights, Corey Peterson, who is a titan in the multifamily space. Dean Rogers, David Olds, Casey Ames, Paul Lizelle. We've had monsters that are just killing it and crushing it and been doing it for a very long time. So if you haven't watched those episodes, definitely go back and check them out. It's changed my business and it'll help change yours as well. This year, we're going to make a switch though. Last year, we focused on really heavy operators, people that had been in this space for a long time and were able to, obviously extract that knowledge from them. But this year, I want to focus on people that are trying to take their business to the next level, be it from beginners or intermediary guys that are just trying to get, from, 100,000 to 500,000, or maybe, 500 to $1 million, right? Or the guy that's just starting, the guy that's like, I'm sitting in the back of a RIA and I want a better life. And I know who you are because I was that guy. 10 years ago, I was in the back of the RIA. I was a hairdresser. I didn't know anything about real estate. And I thought this was way above me. And, it's not. Anybody can do this business. And you can too. And this year, I want to focus on you and helping every business elevate to that next level, because you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to help my own business elevate to that next level. Now, most of you guys know me from Skipforce. I own Skipforce, but I also run an investment company. We purchase single family residents in about 10 different markets and also land. We've introduced land this year and it's been fantastic. I absolutely love it. I want to do more of it. On the Skipforce side, we sell skip tracing and property data to real estate investors to help maximize their marketing campaign, specifically outbound marketing. But now we're going to start incorporating other things like direct mail and sequence marketing. We're creating a platform called Lead Pros that's going to help you organize your data. It's going to tell you exactly where you are in your data. And we're going to add VAs in there so that it could do all the work that's necessary for you to stay on top of your lead. So if you're interested in that, hit me up. You're going to be hearing more about that. So I want to talk about 2024. I want to talk about every single year we come to a point in our business and in our development where we're setting goals and we reflect. I hope you're reflecting, because if you're not reflecting, that's a problem. Some of us are stuck in that grind culture and we feel like if we just work harder, it's going to be enough. And that's unfortunately not the case, because I fell in that trap. It's not about working harder, although we can't escape that. Working harder is just a part of the process, right? Working harder and working smarter is really the key. And the only way you work smarter is if you take that second and take that time to step back and kind of reflect on 2023. I'm sure that you're going to find that you had some peaks and valleys, and that's all of us, right? All the people that you think are crushing it, they've had their peaks and valleys as well. The mistake I think most people make is whenever they're reflecting on the year, they're always thinking about, what they didn't do or they didn't reach their goals. And they don't really focus on things like, hey, how much did I grow this year? Where was I this time last year, what was a positive that happened this year, I would write in my journal about only the positives. I looked at my journal in the past, and every year I've always wrote about, well, I did this, and this well, but majority of it was always, I didn't hit this goal. I didn't go here. The best years are ahead of me, all this stuff. Now, I love the fact that, I'm 54 years old and I still think the best years are ahead of me. But the thing is, I don't want to set any negativity in my mind. And moving forward, the only thing I'm going to focus on is how I grew, what I overcame this past year. So to be brutally honest, this year I had to overcome quite a bit. Our investment business made a shift to land. We didn't know what the hell we were doing. So our fallout rate doubled than what it normally was. We're learning from that, right? We bought more properties than we ever have. Our cash position is better than it was. But we had a couple of times this year where I was really, really worried about our cash position. And, in my development, I always feel like, well, I shouldn't be there. I should be further ahead, but that's not the truth. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, right? In Skipforce, we've had massive up and downs. I mean, there was a drop where 40% of our monthly revenue was cut in like a second, and we had to bounce back from that. On a personal level, since I have two businesses and I'm unorganized, I've had to find a way to become better, to be better. And the only way to do that was to sit back and understand what my weaknesses were and to build out a team or system to help me out. The biggest addition that happened for me this year was, getting an EA. I went through several of them until I found the right one. And if you don't have an EA, an executive assistant, it's a game changer. And it doesn't have to be a stateside person. This person's in the Philippines, but they're a great compliment for me. They have taken over all my calendar and all of my email, and everybody within both companies has to go through that person before they go through me. So essentially they are a gatekeeper for my time. And so, that's something that you can incorporate, and it doesn't take a lot. You can get somebody, you can pay them $5 to $6 an hour. And even though it depends on where you are in your development, but even if it sounds like a lot, it's not, because it buys back that opportunity for you to make more money, right? So let's talk about this year. Like, how are we going to level up this year? Of course, New Year's resolutions, I think is complete bullshit, is, about setting like goals, but they're not really goals. They're more like aspirations for most of us. And I think the reason why New Year's resolutions hardly ever stick is because we don't really think of them in the correct framework. Like the way I see things, I'm not looking to have a certain amount of houses. There's a time in my career where I'm like, I want to be the 100 property a year guy. But what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything, right? So right now I work backwards. Like, what do I need right now to live my best life? And so that answer is different for everybody. So I have to reflect on several aspects of my life, because that's what life is about. I mean, it's not about all work. So what does being the best father look like? What does being the best husband look like? What does being the best friend look like? What does being the best boss look like? And then how much money do I have to make to put myself in that position to be the best version in all those facets of my life? But I got to compartmentalize each facet, knowing that there's no real balance, but I got to put my rocks in first. Everybody's heard that analogy. You put the rocks in first, the pebbles in the sand, right? So I got to put my rocks in first. And so the thing is, everybody says this, you have to have a clear vision, right? So going back to, hey, I want to scale up this year. Scaling. Everybody talks about it. Let's scale. I mean, what does that mean, right? I went through that. I scaled. Almost went broke scaling. And a lot of other people have too, right? But it didn't improve my life. It was so ego-centric and ego-focused. What I know now, is like, I want this number a month. It stretches me. It scares me, but it's reachable. And so now I got to work backwards. So who do I have to be to hit this number? Because if I was already the person, then I'd already be getting it. But reality is I'm not, right? So I have to work backwards. I have to be crystal clear on what that number is. So for you guys, that would be the first thing that I would think about, going, okay, money's not the most important thing, but it allows you to live the life that you need. You can't be great everything else, a father, a husband, all that stuff when you're constantly worried about money. So you got to get that number super clearly defined. Okay. So maybe you're starting out and go, man, if I could get $10,000 a month, that would change my life. That would change most people's life. That's $120,000 a year, right? Majority of people make less than $75,000 a year. In this business, I think anybody can make over $100,000, but you got to follow a blueprint. Okay. And I'm gonna give you some of it right now. For others, it might be $100,000 a month. I know guys that want to make $1 million a month or higher. Great, but you got to be that person that could actually execute that. For me to make $1 million a month, it's not going to happen because I'm not that guy yet. Now, do I think I will be? Man, that's my goal. My goal is to be that guy one day, but I'm not there yet. So I got to increase my skill level. So it's all about skill stacking. That's all you have to think about. Like, you're playing the long game. If you sit there and go, man, if I don't make $1 million this year sucks, or that's stupid. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Really, what you got to think about is like, listen, did I get better this year? What skills do I need to make that amount? And then once I know and write down what skills I need to be a better salesman, or I need to be a better copywriter, or I need to be a better marketer, right? I got to understand PPC backwards and forwards. Like for me, it was obviously outbound marketing. I got to know outbound marketing backwards and forwards. I did that. I've done that, right? Now it's something else. For me, it's PPC. This year, I want to understand PPC backwards and forwards. I want to become a better interviewer and podcast. Last year, it was just about me getting in front of the camera and not stumbling and mumbling through the whole process, right? But I stacked that skill. So think about skill stacking, not the outcome. The outcome was always there. You want to stare at it. But the most important thing is, what are you going to put below it to get to that outcome, to become that person? And then you have to implement the steps, and you got to break it down. Okay. Let's make it super simple. And we're going to use marketing as an example, because this example you can use in every medium. So let's say you are a complete newbie. Okay. I'm talking to you. You're trying to get it here and you're like, man, I want to change my life. Here's the deal. Everybody wants to change their life. Are you willing to do what it takes to do that? And what that means is that you got to do it on your off time. Do not quit your day job and jump into this business. It is a hard business and it takes time to start getting a consistent result a lot of time, truthfully, right? So you have to look at that number, say, let's just use $100,000 as an example. I want to add $100,000 to my revenue. How am I going to do that? Okay. And I'm brand new. I don't know what I'm doing at all. So you got to go, okay. The way you think about it is reverse engineer. At $100,000, an average wholesale deal is about $12,000 for newbies, because you're not going to know how to negotiate, right? For somebody that's more seasoned, it's going to be higher. But for your newbies, it's $12,000. You're going to need 8 of those to get $100,000. So you got to get 8 deals, right? Let me make sure that my math is right here. Pretty sure it's right, but just in case. 12,000 times 8, 96,000. Okay. Close enough, right? So to get that, you got to get 8 deals. How are you going to get 8 deals this year? Are you going to just go out and just be able to like start wrapping up contracts or not? Because you got to stack up skills. One, you got to learn how to talk to a seller. That's big, okay? You might have a deal fall in your lap and you're going to butcher it because you don't understand how to talk to a seller. There's so many different ways of doing it. I got a free course I could give to you. It'll be in the links that'll show you step by step how to talk to a seller. It's super counterintuitive, but you got to learn it. That's a skill set, okay? And you got to live it. Second, you have to find deals. How are you going to find deals? You probably don't have much of a budget. So let's go with a guy that doesn't have much of a budget. And what do you have to do? The simplest way and the cheapest way is to go door knocking. And I would go and grab the pre-foreclosure list and start mapping that out and going to those people's houses, knocking on the door and going, hey, listen, how can I help you? Right? I'm buying houses in this area. I'd like to buy your house. How can I help you? Is there anything that I could do to help? Come into the situation thinking about how to help that person, not, hey, I want to buy your house. Okay. That's going to help big time. So You got to do a lot of that, and you're going to suck, and it's going to be nerve-wracking, right? And you're going to be like, man, I don't want to do this. I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing? Why am I even here? That's when that vision of what you want has to be so strong that it will pull you through, because if it doesn't, you're always going to be where you are. Okay. So that's step one. That's the easiest, cheapest way of doing it. You could do bandit signs. I think bandit signs suck. They're a pain in the ass, but you could definitely do bandit signs. If you don't know what bandit signs is, look it up on YouTube. Okay. The second way, with just a little bit of money, is cold calling. Not all of you are going to want to cold call. Matter of fact, very few of you are going to want to cold call. Most of you are not going to want to cold call because it sucks, right? It sucks. But the path to where you want to go is through a polished, and that is a fact. All right. If you had more money, you could hire somebody to cold call the initial prospecting, and you just talk to somebody that raised their hand. That's easier. If you don't, get your ass on the phone. Download a list. You can go to skipforce.com. You get up to 60,000 records for $99. Get it skip traced. Get on a predictive dialer. We recommend Ready Mode. I'll leave a link there if you need it. Okay. And then just get on it, man. Start making phone calls. Once you get off of work, say, I want to make, 500 phone calls, or I want to make 300 phone calls. I know that sounds like a lot, but the dialer really goes really, really quick. The key is I'm going to talk to people. I'm going to talk to people for about 2 hours, right? 2 hours every day. I want to talk to people and get better. You're going to get a list, say 20,000 records. I know that sounds like a lot, but that, like I said, that dialer, my VAs in the Philippines, they do it all day. They'll go through about, 1,200 records a day. So you'll probably go through on a part-time 300, right? So get 20,000 records, get absentee. I wouldn't focus on all the distress, because just get an absentee and just try to start solving their problem. Out of 20,000 records, you'll probably get around 30 qualified leads. What's a qualified lead? Somebody that raises their hand and says, hey, I want to sell my house and I have a distress factor and I want to sell it fast. Out of those 30, you'll probably close one. Okay? That's one deal. And it comes in clumps. So what that means is that it will come in cycles. You might not get a deal for 2 or 3 months. I got an AM right now, got a deal first weekend. He hasn't got another deal till today. In 2 months, right? But he's building the skill stack, and now they're going to start coming for him. That's going to be the same with you. So do not give up. All right. So at the end of the year, what you're going to find is that you got that 8 deals. You're going to make that $100,000, and then you're going to start adding people to your team. You want to sit in that seat first so that you could tell people what to do, because they're going to always give you an excuse why they can't do something. Okay. Then you call their bull, right? And then you can branch out into other marketing. But the main thing is the main thing. You're stacking skills. You're getting better. You're generating revenue. You're not creating a huge overhead, and you're just getting in the game, and you'll build from there. Talk to the guys like, hey man, I want to consistently make $100,000 a month. Some months I make 200. I'll go 3 or 4 months, don't make anything. I'm tired of this rat race. I'm tired of this hamster wheel. How many of you guys there could raise your hand? If you're honest, almost all of you, right? Almost every single one of you, because that's how this game is for the most, is because, and the reason because is that you do not have a clear plan. You know why I know that? That was me, man. That was me 100%. I'm going to throw this against the wall, see if it sticks. Oh, it doesn't stick. Let's throw something else. It's a way of doing things. You waste a lot of money. I mean, talk to other investors. Everybody's done it. And it's just because we're lazy, right? We're not tracking. We're not holding ourselves accountable enough. We're letting people down that are on our team. I understand that feeling. I know it. I'm there. I've been there. I go there, and I'm disappointed in myself whenever I am in there, right? So if you're there, I'm going to help you out, because I can solve this problem for you. I solved it for myself, and now it's just plain math and vision, okay? And all it really is, and really truthfully, dedication. First thing you got to do, understand the numbers, $100,000 a month. If you're seasoned, your wholesale should be 15 to 18,000 on average, right? Wholesale should be about 25,000. Flip should be 30 to 50,000, somewhere along those lines. Okay. How many deals are you going to need to get $100,000 a month? If you're averaging 18 deals, you'll need 6 deals a month. Okay. Now it's just about working backwards. If I got 6 deals a month, how many leads do I have to produce to be able to get 6 deals a month? Right? So if you are direct mailing, you got to understand the numbers there. If you're a direct mail campaign will probably yield about a 0.005 response rate. So if you're sending out 30,000 mailers, you're probably going to get about 150 leads. And you're probably going to close one in, 15 of those, right? So that should get you to where you need to be. Because if you want 6 deals, you got to close about 8 or 9 of them, right? That's if you're closing 1 in 15. More than likely, you might be closing 1 in 18. Depends on you. Some people I know close 1 in 12, but I like to think it's about 15 to 18 is where it needs to be. And you got to understand that. And that's a commitment. How much is that? Say a mailer at 65, a postcard at 65 cents, 30,000. That's 19,500 a month. And you got to commit to for 6 months. Okay. For 6 months, almost $150,000. You got to say, I don't care about that money. Most of you don't do that. Most of you commit to something for 1 to 2 months, don't see the results, skip it, jump onto something else. Completely the wrong way of doing it. Master one medium. I'm not saying that you have to go to direct mail. I'm just saying that you have to master one. Okay. Me, it was cold calling. We master cold calling, right? So I know from my KPIs from cold calling, I have to spend $8,000 a month and garner about 350 leads. Out of those 350 leads, we will close at least 8, 1 in 45. We should be closing better. Truthfully, that's really, really poor closing ratio. Our AM situation has been a problem this year, right? It should be 1 in 35. But I already know this. I know for a fact that if I have this amount of money that I put in there, I'm going to get these amount of leads coming out, right? For me, 8,000, I'm going to get about 350 leads a month. It's a lot of leads, so I need a lot of bandwidth to be able to handle it, okay? Should close 8. When I say close 8, I'm talking about straight cash sale. I'm not talking about, seller financing and all that stuff. I'm just talking a straight cash sale. So there's a higher possibility. Now, is there a better way of doing, you should have both. You should have outbound and inbound, right? Is there a better way of marketing? There is. It's called sequence marketing. Okay, so what does that mean? That means instead of mailing 30,000 people and paying $19,500 a month, you should call the 30,000 people first. And here's the tip. When you call, you want to make sure that your prospectors is getting the number one KPI, which is right person contact. I want to know before anything else if they are the person that's a decision maker that's associated with the house. Once you have the RPC, you can flag that. Even if it's a non-list, even if it's like, hey, I don't want to sell it all. You know what I mean? Go for yourself, all that stuff. I don't care. I want that RPC because here's what's going to happen. Once I get that RPC, I can flag it. Then all my non-performing numbers that are wrong, numbers I couldn't get a hold of, those are the people that I mail. So instead of 30,000 mailers, you know how much I'm going to probably mail? 15,000. You know how much savings I get? I get a broader reach, right? I know the people out of the first 15 that said, yes, this is my number. I know out of those first 15, who wants to sell, who's in distress. I got that. I also know the person that doesn't want to sell, what I want to sell, send them a mailer. I'm just going to waste that. Then it's the other 15,000. I have no idea what's going on there. Then I want to mail those people. Okay. That is going to really help you minimize your marketing spend. We can help you with that. We have a platform coming out called Lead Pros that will mark all your leads, performing, not performing, control your data. It helps in so many different ways. I'm not going to make this an infomercial about that, but if you want to know about that, just DM me and we can set you up with that. We can execute that better than most. And it's really cut our budget quite a lot on marketing. It makes us really maximize our data. So let's recap. So what's the plan? 1, super clear vision. I need to know the number I need to make a month. So super clear vision. Second, I need a plan. I need to know the action steps, every single action step I need to take to get that result. Okay? Let's use 100,000. If I need to get 8 deals, I need to produce X amount of leads. Then you could understand where to make the shift, because if you're producing the leads and not getting the deals, you got an acquisition problem. You're not producing the leads, well, you got a marketing problem. Then you got to form the habit. Every single day, you got to spend a little bit of time getting better at whatever it is you need to get better at. It is intentional. If you suck at sales, you got to spend 30 minutes in sales. If you suck at marketing, you got to spend 30 minutes diving deep on how to market better. Okay? There's so many resources out there, but you got to set that time apart. If you suck at being a leader, well, you got to become a better leader. And this cycle is a rinse and repeat pretty much on anything in your life. You can do it with fitness. I mean, you can even do it with your relationships, right? What's the goal? What's the action step? What am I going to do about it? Once we're able to control our lives with these action steps, we're going to be able to become the person that we are proud of, right? That I'm a dad. I want to be the dad, the person that my kids are proud of. So, and I don't want to have that feeling that I didn't do enough, that I didn't do my part. I know that feeling. It sucks. Nobody wants that feeling, right? So let's make 2024 the year of intention. And on this podcast, we are going to interview people that are trying to scale that, what they're doing. I'm going to also come in with tips that I have been working on for myself. Because you know what? Self-development does not happen in a vacuum. What that means is this. If I improve, everybody that's associated with me gets the benefit of that, right? It helps them in some way. Then they go and help somebody else. It's a domino effect. It's a vibration. It's a frequency, right? I'm committed to that. I'm committed to improving myself because 1, I want my family's life to be the best it could possibly be. 2, I don't want to have any regrets at the end of the day. 3, I want to make that connection with other people because I crave it. I love being with other people, right? So I'm going to end it with that. I'm going to leave the links below on Skipforce and how we could help you as far as that's concerned, and see you on the next episode. So that's a wrap. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and I hope you received value from this episode. If so, please share this podcast to your brothers and sisters, and also hook up with us on Facebook, IG, and YouTube at ReilTalks. That's REIL Talks. Until next time, my friends, keep it cool, keep it real, and peace out.